Okay. Return. Okay. Here we are. There we go. We got the 2. Now we gotta see if it's actually working. Alright. Okay, it is actually working. Okay, it is working. Alright, okay. Cauldron rolls his eyes, clearing his throat for good measure. Okay, I gotta make sure. There we go. Yay! Okay, got it. Last I heard you detested your planet. Why defend it now? Detested your planet. Oh, okay. So he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the planet. You want to talk about detesting planets? You look pretty content to sit on your ass instead of trying to find your way back to yours. Moms must be so worried about their precious golden boy. And let's not forget that. Watch your mouth. Or what, Cal? The mood around us grows thick, tension hanging heavy in the air. I almost decided to head off and find someone else, leaving the 2 of them to their argument until Cauldron lets out a heavy sigh. I don't want to talk about that. Damien bangs a fist on the bar in front of him, and it's the first time I've seen him genuinely angry. Aren't you the one always telling me to talk about shit? We have more important things to worry about. The fact that Cauldron hasn't fully snapped at Damien surprised me, and I wonder about the nature of their relationship. Fine, suit yourself. They turn away from each other, both of their shoulders tense. I want to say something, but before I can find the words, I notice Damien staring at me, freezing me in place with that cold, cold stare. Let's talk about something else, shall we? Or rather, someone else. A sense of foreboding settles in my stomach. I'm not sure I like the way Damien grins when he says that. How about I just leave? I don't have to sit there. I don't have to take this. I can just go. I don't need to be here. I don't know. Personally, I'll just leave. I would just leave. I don't need to be around any y'all. Looks like we have a dilemma on our hands. What exactly are we going to do with you, newbie? Hold up. Okay. The captain rolls his eyes and clears his throat, cutting to the chase. What he means is we don't do charity. You can't stay on Adroma 6. Oh my gosh. Adromeda 6 if you're going to be just another mouth to feed. Which means you gotta work. Dang, I knew it was slavery. Man. They gonna put me to work for free, and I told you, they could put me up for slavery. Damien looks me up and down, and I swallow thickly. What kind of work? That's relevant. You just need to choose who you rather answer to. Hold up! I'm just gonna. I can choose anyone? No, the crew already has enough on their hands. They don't need any added burdens. Dang! Call me a burden? You really calling me a burden? I narrow my eyes at him. His choice of words is poor, but in a way I understand what he means. Kick him in the nuts. I don't want to be a burden pulling my own weight in exchange for food and accommodation sounds fair enough to me. No, it sounds like slavery. It sounds like slavery to me. Because if they're only giving you shelter and food, man, give me some money. Pay me. Wait, edit window. What? Window. Enter full screen ring front. Ooh. Recess full zoom. Oh, okay. Sorry. I get a little interested in my own tech. Okay. Anyway. So it's either me or Damien Stowaway. I'm the captain and he's second in command. It's only fair that the responsibility falls on one of us. How about I choose neither of you? Neither. I'm on my own. Go ahead and choose, newbie, me or Cal. Cauldron groans a little at a nickname, but lets it slide for the time being. How about I choose neither? How about I choose none of you? None of you. Why did you make Damien second command? Clearly you don't like him. Ugh. Out of the two of them, personally, I choose neither. Both of them seem like they're gonna put me up for slavery. One of them seems like he's gonna sell me on the black market. One's gonna sell me on the main market. You know what? If I'm gonna have this chat opened like right here, might as well just go. Now we're in full screen. Actually, I can see so many more. Is that meant to be store? And that's like the E? Storv. Arena. Win. 18,000. Hiring. Danger. Town. Language I don't understand. Wanted. Probably another wanted. What's over here? Some glasses. I want to do anything but answer this. I want to do everything but press these buttons, you know? I feel like he's gonna be too smug. Wanted do. Oh. Tuesday. No. No, we don't have any class Tuesday. Hold up, sorry. Oh no. Okay. Alright, okay. Now let's see. Out of the two. Here, I'll be right back. Okay. I think we're all Damianists, so golden. Wait. It seems, on first thought, it's the safer choice. Though, by the way, Cauldron's forehead dips as the seconds tick on, I'm a little less sure about that. I choose the captain. Too late to back out now. Whatever. Less trouble for me. Damien stands tossing back the contents of his glass before he starts to leave. He stops for just a moment, long enough to look over his shoulder and call out to me. Good luck, boo. When I turn back to Cauldron, is to find him staring down on the neck of his bottle, a faraway look in his eyes. I take advantage of his silence to ask one question that's been burning in the back of my mind. What did you mean when you said you had no choice but to leave Goldus? You sure ask a lot of questions. That was only one. His gaze falls on me, impatient written all over his face, and I swallow thickly. I'm just trying to learn more about you. Colton raises an eyebrow at me, taken aback by my boldness. Why? Because I don't think you're as much of a hard as you let on. He turns back to the bar, and for a moment I think he isn't going to say anything until finally he speaks almost too quietly to hear for the static of the crowd around us. I was exiled. Oh yeah, it was 3 words. 3 words, that's all it takes to bring down that mask of hostility and hardness, replacing it instead with despair. What happened? Jess Vovak. That's what bloody happened. Is that why you were on Artist that day? For Zovak? Look, kid, there are many things I left behind on my home planet. Many things I thought were worth returning for, and none of them I want to speak about with you. I step back a little, taken aback by the fire in his eyes, the utter rage written on his handsome face. Sorry to have bothered you. I turn away from the bar, stopping only when a hand on my arm stops me in my tracks. Wait. Bro. Look, bro, you gotta stop giving me choices. A lot of choices all at once. First I had to choose a drink, then... Not kidding, I'm kidding. It's actually not really that much. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay. Do 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 do. Okay. I think I'm gonna... Nah, I'm gonna listen to him. You know what? Gotta give the man a chance. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. None of it is. I don't know what happened to you, but if you ever need to talk to someone who's not them, I know I'd my head to nowhere in particular, but the tilt of his lips tells me he knows who I'm talking about. You know where to find me. Cauldron looks me over, eyes shifting from surprise to amusement in mere instants. You continue to surprise me, you know that? I can't help but return his smile, feeling like I've chipped away that ice-cold wall of his, if only a little. Cauldron sighs, and by the loosening of his shoulders, I can tell he's relaxing a little more. I swirl my drink a little lost in thought and enjoying the comfortable silence that settles between us. What did you say to Oppo earlier? I reminded them of all the times we bailed them out with the local gangs around here. Oppo has oh my gosh, has a penchant for trouble. I know they don't mean it, but it finds them nonetheless. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you kind of like them. They're useful to obtaining things that aren't exactly legal. That language you spoke to them? Arcanos. How did you learn it? I had an expensive education. My mother wanted a good life for me. I was tutored not only in the common languages of our system, but also those of our neighbors. They wanted me to be a council member to change the lives of people throughout the system. I think I damn near broke their hearts when I joined the guard. Where are they now? They're back on Glorious. I haven't seen them in a long time. He looks at me for a moment, a strange emotion I can't pinpoint in his eyes. I'm sorry, I'm boring you with all this talk. You should go and have fun. I am having fun. I'd rather stay with you. I still have a drink to finish. Believe it or not, but I'm having fun right where I am. Geldrin raises an eyebrow as though he doesn't quite believe me, and I get the impression it's not something he's used to hearing. You sure you didn't hit your head again? Unless I fell out of bed and bumped it while I was sleeping. I don't think so. He huffs a laugh, the deep sound echoing around me. Maybe it's dangerous for you to be sleeping alone. Oh, don't. You know. Okay. You can. That is something you can say. You are allowed to have those words. Leave your lips, you know. Wait, hold up. Do. There we go. Okay. I mean, I didn't mean it like that. I can't help but chuckle. That is not how you sounded. Wait, let me go back and issue. I mean, I didn't mean it like that. I can't help but chuckle a little, watching as he eventually does the same. A pang of sadness hits me for this man, who is so guarded, so serious. Before I can stop myself, my hand instinctively rests on his arm, feeling the strength of corded muscles beneath his uniform. Why are you focusing on the muscles? Cauldron looks at my hand curiously. but he doesn't stop me. And when his eyes meet mine, I swear they're softer somehow. The fact that she thinks, um, the fact that she, the fact that not she, the fact that he thinks that I called Cauldron she. This man is a woman now. The fact that he he's like thinking and like he's looking at it means like he looks at my hand curiously. Like the fact that he's looking at my hand curiously means that I'm not just he didn't just touch food didn't just touch his shoulder, or like he didn't just touch his arms and goes like, oh, I guess there's muscle there. That means he's actually feeling on it. That suggests that he's feeling it, and then the captain is just looking at me like, what, why are you feeling my arm? I mean, I'm not gonna stop you, but like, why are you doing this? He parts his lips to speak, but obviously thinks better of it. No, he really is confused. Thinks better of it, dropping his head and giving me a sheepish grin. No, he's so confused. Like, why are you feeling my arm? Why are you feeling me? There's something we should talk about. He declares, catches me a little off guard after the previous conversation, but I steady myself enough to look at him curiously. What's that? If you're going to be staying with us on the A6, there's a couple of things we need to get straight. He rolls his shoulder before he speaks, hand clenching and unclenching on the bar in front of him. First, like I said before, this isn't a free ride. You'll be expected to do your bit within the crew. Fair enough. Second, and I want you to listen to me very carefully because I'm going to be honest with you. Cauldron looks around the club before he lowers his head, leaning toward me. The crew has wound up on the hit list for some very, very bad people. Being one of us implicates you too. Oh, that's great. Well, at least I get a warning. I can't promise you this job will be easy, but you'll have a place on the ship. And if by some miracle you remember anything about where you're from, we can help you get there. I'm still thinking this is some sort of slavery thing, like, because you're not exactly like paying me to work for you. You're just like, oh yeah, I'll give you a roof over your head and feed you food, the basic necessities that you cannot pay for. And so we know you have nowhere else to go and you can't pay for anything, so we are just gonna have you work for us with no pay. Like, not once have I heard a way of actual payment from these people. He straightens up at once, giving me a hard look. Are you sure you want to be a part of that? On second thought, I go, on second thought, and it just ends right there. Just ends. Okay, so let me think. How long have I known these people? Okay, so I've known them for, I don't know, like a day or two. I guess it took like a few days to get here, and so I'm sure I've had a few conversations with them. They seem like nice people, but like, do I really know much about them? Do I know much or anything about them? I don't think my character is in full trust mode here. What for, dear? Just like, have I known these people long enough to say I'm willing to be on a hit list? Yeah. if I'm I feel like my character at this point, at this very moment, maybe later on this story I will say otherwise, but at this very moment, I don't think my character is willing to risk all that. You know? Like, you guys seem nice and all, but like, I don't know you that well, and I don't want to be on hit list. So be like, on second thought, I hesitate, and Cauldron must notice because he raises an eyebrow at me and waves a hand towards the exit. If you want to take the chance and head out on your own, be my guest. I look towards a door out there. I know nothing. I have nothing. I like to stay with the crew. Honestly, I think um you know what, that snake dude was offering me a job. Why don't I take a job from the snake dude? Not the yes. Stay with them. Look, honestly, why don't I just work for the snake dude? I didn't even think about that. Like, he was offering me a job. I know he does some illegal crap, but like, at least I have a planet to stay. Don't work for Opa. Now that's settled, what do you know about merchandising? I give him a disbelieving snort, thrown off by the question. Mercenaries? You mean hitmen who... But nah. Get you into a pyramid scheme. You mean hitmen who use other people's misfortune for their own personal gain? Cauldron doesn't say anything, but when I notice the clench of his jaw, something clicks. And that's what you all are. Mercenaries? If you're good at something, people pay you to do it. And I don't know about you, but I don't see many honorable establishments willing to hire a pack of misfits like us. I don't know. You can help people, like, ship things. You don't have to kill them. You don't really. It's not a necessary evil you need to do. Oh my gosh. Also, Damien, I'm assuming. You got a problem with it? There's the door. He turns back to his drink, taking a long sip and resting his large forearms on the bar in front of him. Yeah, there's the door. Get out of there. Run. Run. All I've ever known of mercenaries have been tainted with preconceptions. Hired guns, no better than space pirates, whose mercilessness knows no bounds. Cauldron and even Damien fit the bill well enough, but when I think of the others, June, Ryan is especially, I can't help but wonder if they're not all that Cauldron is making them out to be. I don't have a problem. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, that's all. He grimaced in understanding, tossing back the contents of his drink and tapping the bottle against the counter, glancing at my now empty glass. You want another? Sure. I almost chuckle at the flush on his face as he signals the bartender, grumbling to himself when he fails to get their attention. I get the impression that he doesn't get the chance to relax nearly as much as he should. While he shifts aside a terrified kid who looks too young to be in a place like this, I relax on the bar stool, taking in the scene around me. Hey, pretty one, let me buy you a drink. My tension A gay man trying to flirt me up. Anyway, my attention shifts to the man who slid up beside me far too close for comfort. He's human by he's human by the looks of things, though 2/3 of his face and both arms have been replaced by bionics, and his voice has a strange metallic echo to it. His eyes focus on me, both of them glowing an eerie neon green, and it takes me a few moments to compose myself and wave a hand in front of me. No, thank you. I barely turned away when a cold metal hand grabs my arm and almost yanks me completely off my seat. Hey, hey, yo, no, no, no. Hey, yo, no, no, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that, buddy. I let out a yelp, surprised by the sudden heat of his breath on the side of my face. We ain't do. I told you no. Exactly. I told you no. We can just vibe. We don't need it. We don't need a fight. We don't need to make a big scene. We don't need to make a big deal. I can just go on the side and leave. It's like we don't need to make a mess. I wasn't giving you a choice. No one says no to me around here. Hold up, hold up. What do you mean no one says no? Well, maybe you need to hear it again. No, because people do say no to you around here, and that person is me. And so we're gonna just say no, say goodbye, leave on our way. You know? We're gonna. Here, let me. Exactly. I say no to you. I'm gonna here. Let me teach you the word. The spelling starts with an N and ends with a O, making the sound no. And so, and so, when that word comes out, it means you need to stop what you're doing and you need to let go. And exactly. And then it's like you just and then you need to stop, let go on your way. It sucks, but like it's just what happens, human decency. And then maybe go try to hit on another person because clearly I am not interested. How about my dad's next door, so I cannot yell this, but how about you back the hell off before I fritz, oh my god, fritz that a tin can you call a face. Noun and subject. Yeah, exactly. It's a noun and a subject. Respect the no, bro. Yeah, exactly. We just gotta teach him what no means. The rumbling growl of an extremely pissed off captain. Not the get 'em boys. Captain resounds from beside me, and the van grip on me loosens before or disappearing completely. Apologies, Captain Lynch. Yeah, move along. It's only when the man leaves that Cauldron removes his fingers from the blaster or hanging at his side. Show why you the captain. No, for real. I leave you for 1 second and already the hound. Oh my gosh, the hounds are at the door. It wasn't my fault. He's the one who was being a creep. Cauldron waves a dismissive hand at me, and I narrow my eyes at him. I'm going to go and look around. I slid off my bar stool, only to feel a firm grip wrap around my arm before I take a step further. Unlike the grasp of the tin-faced man earlier, this one feels a lot less hostile. Just be careful. Don't wander away from the club on your own. I roll my eyes before settling on him again with a smile. I'll be fine, Captain. See you later, Stowaway. Why are you smiling at me like that, bro? Turning away from the bar, I'm drawn to the shouts floating my way from the room at the back of the club, followed by a round of loud cheers. I make my way through the crowd, sliding around a dark and dodgy-looking dance floor before I push aside the curtain to the back room and freeze. No, like, I mean, it's a good thing, but like, why are you smiling? Like, I was about to be assaulted, and you're like, be careful, Stowaway. um, Sliding dark dodge floor before I push aside in the curtain to the back room and freeze. Aya, please come down. Oh, what are you doing? Hold up, hold up. What? Hold up, I feel like I need to cover some of this up. Aya, please come down from there. You're going to break something. Light it up, will you? The only thing I'm breaking is hearts. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. No, no. Aya, stop. Stop. What is surveying the scene in front of me? It doesn't take me long for realization to dawn, and with it, the shock of what exactly is going on. Hidden at the back of the club behind a dirty red curtain and a crowd of sleazy patrons is a strip club. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I feel like I just need to cover part of the screen for people. I need to cover all of this. All of this needs to be covered. I would say that I'm surprised, but after meeting Oppo earlier, I'm really not. I joined June beside the stage, distracting him from trying to coax Aya and down from it for a mere moment when I cross my arms over my chest and give him a pointed look. I didn't take you for the strip club type. I didn't think that was kind of your scene, if you know what I mean. I know perfectly well, but it's complicated. I'm not judging you, to each their own. No, but I A small smile tugs at my lips and June chuckles, realizing I'm only teasing him. Oh yeah, make him rain, Poppy. No, no! Aya, stop! Stop! Signing June nods towards the stage. As I'm sure you can tell, Aya likes dancing. When I turn to the stage, it all starts to make sense. The one getting all of these cheers from the crowd is Aya. No. Aya, no. Aya. Stop. You need to stop. Get off the stage. Listen to this man. Like, look at his face. He's so worried. Look. It's so much fun. Grandpa June down there is just trying to kill my vibe. Aya laughs. Aya laughs and hooks an ankle around the pole, spinning around so many times I feel dizzy just watching her. I'm not trying to kill your vibe. I'm just worried about you. June rolls his eyes, exasperated, his voice almost lost among the noise surrounding us. Chillax, daddy. Not. Do not. Aya. Aya, do not call this man daddy. Do not. You are not allowed to call this man daddy. Oh my gosh. You are not allowed to call this man daddy. Oh my gosh. Chillax, daddy. How about you loosen up before you end up with sticks in your ass the size of the captain's? Their eyes lock on each other, unflinching and interrupted only when Aya twirls around the pole, her face appearing a mere moment later to continue the glaring match. I wring my hands in front of me awkwardly, thinking this is probably a good time to intervene and diffuse the situation. I would just cover my face. I'd be like, you know what? I don't need to see this. I'll be like, no, not the daddy Jew. I'll be like, you know what? I don't need to be here. You guys can do your own thing. I'm gonna go. Nah, I'm agreeing with June. You know, so many people get assaulted and stuff like that. It's really not a safe place. June's right. How would we get out of here if our pilot falls down and hits her head and forgets how to fly a ship? Aya straightens up, crossing her arms over her chest unhappily and narrowing her eyes into it's a vivid violet. I'm sorry! just let me. Bruh. Wait, we could learn about her planet if I chose her? Nah, no. Now I. Dang. I just was gonna agree with him just naturally, Just. I just agree with him just naturally because I'm like, it's a dangerous place for you to be. I just don't want you hurt, you know? And now she's upset with me. I'm sorry. I didn't want to intervene. Honestly, what I wanted to do was just leave you guys alone and just leave the whole room and area. I just honestly I wasn't gonna learn about either of you. I was personally just gonna leave because I didn't want to. I don't want to be part of the. Aya straightens up, crossing her arms over her chest unhappily and narrowing her eyes into slits of vivid violet. Oh, not you too. And here I thought you were fun. It's not about being fun, Aya. We're just worried about you. Yes, why don't you come down here and we can go get a drink or something? Yeah, right. We don't need another pair of party poopers hanging around when we already have Cauldron, who might I add can pilot the ship just as well as I can in case of an emergency. Well, not as well as me, but you know what I mean. Arya sighs heavily, then lips twists into a grin that is positively demonic as she looks down at us. Whatever, I know you're just jealous of my amazing pole skills. Sure, you can say that. You can say that as long as you get down and don't let people assault you, Don't worry, boo. I can give you a private show some other time. No, don't tell me that. No. No, bro, don't tell me that. Bro, if I was really there, they would all just make fun of me for You know, don't tell me that, bro. No. If I was actually there making these noises, they would all just make fun of me. They'd be like, with an with another of her bubbly laugh, Aya grasps the pole and returns to twirling and dancing at the request of the gathering crowd, while I do nothing but stare after her dumbly. Don't mind her, she's all bark, no bite. Come on, let's find a seat and keep an eye on her from a distance. I don't think I want to. Um, I don't think I want to. I think I just want to get out of here. I don't know. June takes me by the hand and gently guides me through the crowd into an empty, darkened booth in the corner of the room. June, you can stay here. I'm going. There's cooler here, and I take a breath, grateful to escape the stuffiness of the crowd around the stage. When I choose a side to sit down, June takes a seat beside me instead of sitting opposite, his shoulders brushing against mine. Nah, you pick in the opposite side. Go to the opposite side. I was too close to another man earlier. Look, nothing wrong with you, June, but you sitting on the other side. Save some room for Jesus, you know? Sorry, I was just getting a drink. Water. No, it wasn't water, it was actually a soda. Hydration. Honestly, I think their salt in it would be less hydration than I would normally get if I would to actually drink water. But I digress. For the Holy Ghost, y'all. His hands still clasped mine, almost unknowingly, and I can't help but smile at how protective he is of everyone in the crew. Why are you still holding my hand? Let go, bro. Let go. You can't be sitting right next to me and still holding my hand. Boy, you want me to kiss it? Go, let go, man. Man, I got a girlfriend. Get out of here. Me refusing the dating sims game because I have a real life girlfriend. Soda in disguise as a water. He is a gentleman. Entwine our fingers, hold still, let his. You know what? Fictional man. No. You know what? No, actually, we're here to make you jealous. We're gonna entwine the fingers. We're doing this just to make you jealous. You know what? I'm flirting with another man. How do you feel about that, bro? I take the chance to entwine our fingers, holding tight into the warmth of his hand, and feeling the hard rigid of his callousness calloused I don't know how to say the word. Skin beneath my fingertips. Bro was flabbergasted. He's like, bro, you have a girlfriend. Get out of here. Me, Jelly. You just saying that because you are actually jealous. You're saying that because you jealous. You pretending you're not jealous. June blinks at me a couple times, taking a moment to register the action. Get out of here, no. Get out of here, no. You are not allowed to be sly now. A lazy grin slides onto his lips and squeezes my hand, keeping them clasped beneath the table and out of sight. I can't hold back the shiver that runs through me. We're close, very close. His breath brushes against my skin when he turns to speak. When I finally look up from our intertwined fingers, I can do nothing but lose myself in those fathomless gray eyes. Dang! Boo. A loud cheer and a shout breaks whatever spell we're under, and when my gaze snaps a score, it's to find Aya has pulled some poor soul up onto the stage with her, the two of them spinning around the pole at an alarming speed. Bro, what? Aya! Guess she's still a hit with them. Yeah, but should she really be doing that? It looks dangerous. I'm not sure I could even pull it off anyway. I wouldn't complain if you decided to give it a try. What? Bro said give me a private show. Bro said give it a try, let me watch you. Just not in front of all these people. Hey, you wanted a private show. Hey, yo. My cheek, oh my gosh, my cheeks heat up, and I'm pretty sure our blush are a perfect match. Oh my gosh. Jude. Luckily, the corner we've chosen to sit is dimly lit, oh here oh my gosh, so here's hoping he doesn't notice just how flushed my skin is. Forcing myself to pull my hand from his, I try to clear my head, shifting my attention back to Anya. What do you mean just a little silly? He just goes, yeah, you can give it a try as long as it's, like, I find watching you give it a try as long as it's just not in front of all these people. What do you mean by that, sir? She's totally wild, isn't she? You can say that again. Aya is, well, she's been through a lot. I don't blame her for loosening up from time to time. Satisfying my attention. Look, sometimes that's is very satisfying. That's why I like pause for a moment to read things, because sometimes it just like it like, oh my gosh, English. My brain just doesn't fully read through the word, and it just makes up the word. It's like, oh yeah, you totally read through the entire word. Here, let me give you the full rundown without you actually reading it. You can say that again. Oh yeah. But someone has to watch out for her when Cauldron isn't around. And tonight I'm on Aya duty. They're close, aren't they? Aya and Cauldron? They were in the guard together when Cauldron was exiled from Glorious. Aya followed him. They've been inseparable ever since. Not the mental article. I've blinked dumbly. The two of them are at each other's throats more often than not. It's obvious that they're close, but I never knew exactly how deep their history together ran. Aya left the guard for Cauldron. June rubs the back of his neck anxiously, looking towards the stage. It's a complicated story, and not mine to tell. Sensing a shift in the conversation, I decide I should probably steer it back into a safer waters. Let's talk about you, then. About me. Don't you need someone to look after you when you need to loosen up? June looks away, but not quick enough that I don't see the pain clouded those gentle eyes. I don't loosen up. He's been through a lot too. I suspect that every member of the A6 has a story to tell. Not the tee! Not the tee! You baby needs to relax. No, for real. If you ever need to, I'm here for you. Thank you, but no need to etch your gills in a flutter over me. The thin skin on my gills shiver at his words. I can't help the laugh that bubbles up from me. June's earnest smile makes my heart tighten. I wish there was something I could do to help him, especially after everything he's done for me since I woke up. Tell me something about you, sir. You already know pretty much all I know about me. I think it's time you tell me something about you. Do I, though? Maybe. But I do know very little about you. You're right, you don't. Not many people do, to be honest. The way his bright smile fades so suddenly after, or as if the stars had all faded too. Hashtag space mermaids in the chat. What? No, I'm not a space mermaid. I'm a siren. You see how people keep falling for me left and right? I'm a siren. I reel the men in just so I can feast on their skin. Please choose the long one? What do you mean long one? Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. What do you mean the long one? Jeez. Not the skin. I hardly know the man, but he's just so nice to me. I should know more about him. What do you mean, just their skin? What do you mean? What, you want me to eat more than their skin? Fine. Like, will you tell me more about where you're from, Moron? Long one? What do you mean long one? No, long one. What do you mean long one, bro? Okay, you're just trying to get me to say the word now. Okay, you're just trying to get me to say the word. He seems a little he seems a little uneasy, but he agrees with the nod of his head anyway. What do you mean, pick it? What do you want to know about it? Oh. Okay. Oh my god. Chat, I thought you were trying to get me to be dirty, bro. Okay, now I understand why you keep saying long. But well, I gotta be nice. Just tell me everything. What do you think I'm? Well, I don't know. I don't know what you. I don't know what you mean. Just long. You never specified. You just said long one. What was I meant to think? What was I meant to think when you're spamming me long one? Oh my gosh, don't say long ones unite. No, don't say that. No, you done. No, go away. You're done. You're done. What? No, that is Okay, but like, when you're just saying a long one randomly, what am I meant to think? Like, what? Like, a long what? What, long pizza? Or like, along another thing I can't really specify, but like, you know, what am I meant to think? Long explanation. Exact. Well, specify. You know, context is key here. Context is key. Long pizza does sound good. It does. Um, long bread. I would eat a long bread. You know, make it a really long sandwich. Have a Subway sandwich. I'ma eat that. I don't really know much about it, so everything is welcome. Guts. For a second, I was thinking baguettes were croissants, and because I was having a mental image of croissants, instead of baguettes. So when I was reading baguettes, my mind went straight to a really long croissant, and I don't know how that happened. Um, sure thing. June shifts in his seat, leaning back to get comfortable. I was born in Oron. It was the first planet humans habited in the system formerly, known as Earth 4000. It had a stable environment, sustainable for architecture, and cohabitation with native wildlife. Despite being about a quarter the size of Earth, it was a good place to start. Unfortunately, its size was what started the problems. The planet became overpopulated. Flora and fauna were dwindling in an alarming rate, and the solution they came to was to take those who were willing to pay and move them to Glorious. But what about the natives? Surely life already existed when humans moved to these planets. You're a smart cookie. The leaders of Sultan would have us believe that there were no natives, that two perfect planets existed with no former life waiting for us to take them. And then we discovered Terranium and Cursa after that. Humans worked with Catilfians, eventually subjecting to their rule, and with Arkans held only by the Arkrans, only one alien stronghold remains. Talarian? June makes a face, a kind of grimace, and I can't quite tell what his thoughts are on all of this. And what happened to the natives? Where are they now? Extinct would be the best guess. Destruction in human nature, why would this be any different? The mining business was and still is their most profitable successor. Nickel and iron one, mostly, but there is one mine. Criminals and traitors are sentenced to work there, and he struggles with the words disgusting and bitterness lacing his words so thickly I find it harder and harder to distinguish the gentleman beneath. You know what would be interesting that I'm now thinking about adding to the Space RP is that there are two planets that are exactly the same, like this kind of thing. There are two planets that are exactly the same with a plentiful of life, but one has like a little less life than the other, and they're like, oh, well, we're getting overcrowded criminals in these cells, and so then they end up sending those criminals into the other island, and so that island planet just becomes like a crime planet and a criminal planet where they started because they just shipped them off there with no technology, nothing. And so they have to eventually work together to like kind of make something out of it, and it just becomes a criminal planet where just where just a bunch of like the black market like a bunch of black market work goes on in there and everything. I don't know. I don't know. It's just interesting thought to me. Anyway, he struggles with yeah. I don't know what Chris is, but yeah. He struggles with the words disgusted and bitterness lacing his words so thickly I find it harder and harder to distinguish the gentleman beneath. Deep in the mines they discovered a substance, green metal, well, green metal, something much older and much more dangerous than anything the humans had crafted up until then. Klatovian scientists, being the best and brightest at the time, turned it into something else. The thing it did, the thing they did to people in those mines. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Nobody did anything to stop it. It should have ended with the destruction of Klatovian. But still, they continued to. June stops, his throat bobbing uncontrollably and his eyes hard. His hand twitched on the table in front of him, knuckles turning white where he clenches them tight, his teeth gritted hard. June? Clearly he's getting, okay. Clearly he's getting really upset about this conversation, and I don't want to upset him further. I want to keep this light, like, because if this is bothering him too much, maybe maybe it's best to just no, like, maybe it's like honestly best to just be like, hey, it's okay, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. Let him yay. Let him yay! I don't. But, like, if it's bothering him, I don't want to bother him more by, like, forcing him to yap about it more. I mean, I don't know about the others. Maybe he has fully yapped about it to the others. We don't know, like. Fine, I'll let him yap. um, it hurts to know as my own species who found out whatever it is that's eating him up now. I know it wasn't me, but still, I feel responsible. But I need to know I can't stop him now. What did they do? June lets loose a short breath before responding. It's an enhancer. Fuel, power, whatever you can think of. It increases its potency 100 times over. The mines are a living hell. The substance is toxic and the fumes poisonous, yet no one cares. They don't care what it does to people. They don't care what they do to the people. I put a hand on his arm, and finally he pulls himself out of whatever hell his past has thrown him. And his eyes glistening with unshed tears and the rage that fills him just moments ago vanishing. I whisper quiet enough that only I should be able to hear. What happened to you? Our eyes met, 1,000 unspoken words hanging in the air between us. What hasn't happened to me? I didn't expect him to hear me, much less reply. His voice is so low, so broken, I can barely make out the words over the music surrounding us. But the pain in his eyes tells me everything I need to know. I'm sorry, Boo. I shouldn't have said so much. I haven't had anyone else to like this in a long, long time. Hey, no touching, assholes! June's head snaps up, the mask of calmness collecting is sliding back into place so quickly I can hardly be sure what just happened. I think that's my cue. Aya continues shouting and pulls us from our bubble, and June doesn't seem like he wants to talk about it anymore, so I decide not to push it. But this conversation is far from over. I need to know what has him so shaken up about his home planet. You're not going to get in a fight, are you? Me? No. I'm going there to save whoever got on Aya's bad side. She's small, but she's a fighter. You should probably get out of here before things get ugly. Laughing, even if it's a little forced, we both stand, and I watch for a minute or two as he heads back to the stage, pulling some guy back by the arm, stopping Aya's fist mid-punch with a raising hand. Deciding it's probably best not to get involved in whatever is going to happen next, I skip past the dirty red curtains and back into the club. Into the club. Back into the club. There's only one place in the club I haven't been to yet, and I'm curious to find out how Bash and Ryan are amusing themselves. Okay. Sliding around the dance floor once more, I've almost made it to the curtain separating the final room from the rest of the club. The club. Anyway, when I feel a sharp pointed nail tap me on the shoulder. When I turn, I find Opal looking nothing short of delighted that they found me. They offer a strange half bow and greeting. Not Mr. Boot. You know, I probably have a last name. The club. Mr. Boo, how do you enjoy Opal's club? It is the finest in Las Vegas, yes? Opal blinks at me a couple of times, leaning forward while they wait for an answer. Oh, it's great, Opal. I've never seen anything like it. Opal smiles, apparently happy with the answer as they clasp their hands in front of them and peer at me through wide yellow eyes. Opal is curious how you met Mr. Bash and the astrologer crew. Tell Opal the story, yes? Oh, well, Let me think. I'm going. Because I don't know who this dude is, and he just called me a slave earlier. But I'm the type to get myself in trouble because you know what? Maybe I can trust him. You know, I'll tell him the truth. Alvo seems harmless enough, so I don't know why I couldn't tell them the truth about how I ended up on the Adroma 6. I was in Slotvaya during the coup. I don't remember much, but I was injured and the crew rescued me and brought me aboard. He's going to use this against me somehow. He's going to do something shady with me now. Fortunate that the crew was there, yes? I stopped for a moment, realizing that I've barely taken a moment to appreciate how truly lucky I was that day. Yeah, I owe them my life. Oppa owes them our life too. Many lives, in fact. You come and work in Oppa's club, yes? No need to go back to nasty Glorious now. What? Oppa, no, for the last time, I'm not working for you. Oppa gives me a sheepish grin, and I shake my head at them, my lips quirking slightly at the corners. Mr. Boo met the crew in Site B, yes? Yes, that's right. Oppo hears rumors. from the royal city, the king and his family murdered. I swallow thickly. It's a dreadful ordeal. No matter how hated the old king was, 15 lives, an entire family gone. Oh. Oh no, not the 1%. Oh no. Do you have a charger? Or, oh wait, no, you're at the store, aren't you? Um, yeah, you can't really access, yeah. Oh, oh no. But one body they cannot find, the youngest prince. It's going to be me, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I'm going to end up being the youngest prince, aren't I? That's what's gonna end up happening. Oh my gosh, I already know the lore. Of course, the forgot. You'll know. Of course, the trope. The prince gets knocked out. They don't remember anything. I know this trope. I'm the prince, guys. You know, were they also mermaid people? Probably. It's as if he just disappeared. Yes. His eyes narrow, and they look at me instantly, very curious. Oh, why are you looking at me? Is that why you keep calling me Your Highness, Your Majesty? Bro. I would be a bad ruler. You don't want me. The king has 3 wives. Nah. You don't want me to be the prince. I'm gonna be completely honest. You think the prince is still alive? Oppo thinks if he was alive, he should hide far, far away. The Usupa would not want to let live a threat to his throne. How would one recognize this prince if they saw him, that is? Oppo does not know. The youngest royal children were hidden, always hidden. Not important to be seen, not at all. Oppo looks me over, and for a moment, I think the conversation is over until suddenly they speak again. Oppo is happy Mr. Boo is here. Mr. Boo is safe in Oppo's home. I think he also suspects me to be the prince. Oppo smiles at me, and although the pointed teeth gives them a rather sinister look, I get the impression they mean that what they say. Thank you, Oppo. With another half bow, Oppo bells up. See, look. I think I know where this story's leading. Oppo, you know what would be interesting? You know what would be interesting? If I end up not being the prince. if I end up not being the prince and I end up just being a guard who knows where the prince is, that would be a really interesting trope where you think it's going into the suspected trope and then realize it's not. With another half bow, Oppo bells off into the crowd, and after watching them until they disappear, I continue on my way. Heading towards the room off to the side of the club, when I push the curtains aside, I spot Bash not too far away, settled around a half-moon table covered in crimson felt. Oh, look, whoever this artist is, beautiful art. Like, you guys are a great artist. Like, they deserve all the rewards. Like, Oh my gosh, this. I eat it up. Anyway, three other patrons are seated at the same table. A small creature with a bored look on her face, and a beautiful Kentuckian couple who look far too finely dressed for a place like this. Exactly! Their art is so pretty. Dealing a set of cards in front of each set is a woman who curiously I notice has 4 arms. As I step closer to the table, I realize that while her upper arms look natural enough, the bottom are completely robotic, much like Bash's, and assist her with dealing the cards at lightning speed. Last chance to place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Bash pushes a stack of chips further into the table. As I step up behind him, I finally notice Rias at his side. Relief washes over me. I was afraid I wouldn't run into her again until we were back at the ship. It would be an understatement to say that the look on her face, the sight of his bet, is one of pure horror. Understandable. Why would you put all the chips in? Sebastian, that amount of money would be enough to feed the entire crew for a month. What are you thinking? Bash sits back in his seat, arms folded casually over his seat, and a lopsided grin on his lips. Why are you betting our money? Bash, why are you betting our money? We need that. Give that back. No, I'm taking. No, he's not allowed to bet anymore. I just take the chips back from him. I'm just taking the chips back from him. No, he's not betting that. I'm stopping him personally. I know what I'm doing, Rai. This is how they draw you in, you know. You get a few wins, and the next thing you know, it's completely gone over your head, and you end up losing everything. Next thing, you'll be betting the ship itself. Bash snorts at her accusation, and Rhina's like, oh, actually, this gives me an idea. Thank you, Bash. You know what? Thank you, Rai. Thank you, Bash. You're giving me ideas. I'm gonna write that down later. Bash snorts at her accusation, and Rhinus looks less than impressed by her reaction. Did not bet this. Look, I'm not going to bet this ship. Personally. Anyway, and risk the unholy wrath of our dear old captain? Not likely. I watched their argument, if that's what it can be called, with mild amusement. It ends when Rhinus crosses her arms over her chest, turning slightly away from Bash, and purses her lips into what I can only describe as a pout. Forgetting the angry Talarian for a moment, Bash leans closer to me, his voice an excited whisper. The rules are simple, my friend. If the card shows 3 crowns, you get another draw. The hourglass represents 12. That's a high card. And this one here... I stare at him, utterly perplexed, and his voice fades away into nothing. What exactly about any of this is simple? Bro, I honestly, I imagine, like, what you call it? Because you said sorry is their bash. What I imagine is that sorry, he's like over here betting the thing, and then like he's like, oh gosh, I need to earn this money back. That's all of our food's money. Like that's all of our food money. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna bet the ship, and when we win, he won't even know that I betted it. Like, Nothing will happen. He bets the ship. They lose. It's gone, and so they have to go try to get it back. And then when Kaz finds out, it's like, bro, he getting his butt whipped. Bash studies me for a moment before giving me a casual shrug of his shoulder and cleaning his throat intently. Just watch what I do. You'll pick it up soon enough. Rai and I share a look. By the deep grooves forming on her forehead, I'd say she's less than pleased about the situation. Can't we find somewhere else to go? Rhina gives me an appreciative smile, one that I return with. Bash lets out an unhappy groan. Come on, Boo, don't be such a spoil sport. I'm just trying to show you the finer things Telarium has to offer. Gambling? Gambling? I don't know. I'm not sure gambling would really help, you know? I don't consider gambling one of the finer things. You get me drinking pop as ASMR in this thing. You get to hear the ice. Gulps. Big sip time. Anyway. See, I'm not the only one who feels that way. Yeah, but that's just because you're like this already. Bash holds up a hand and crosses fingers together, rolling his eyes dramatically. Don't think I don't see the two of you linking arms when we arrived. Is there something you want to tell me? Hey, yo, she bullshit. See, I am basically rizzing up everyone. I am flirting with everyone. I'm getting everyone to like me. You know. Sebastian. Bash laughs and Rhinos blushes and swats him on the shoulder, and I can't stop the smile that slides onto my face. The dealers flip another card, and Bash lifts quirk further. It bears a image of a goblet. We've got this in the bag, Boo. I hope you're ready to win some serious credits. I don't know. Practically shaking with excitement, Bash drums his fingers on the table, unblinking as his gaze follows the dealer's swift movements. The dealer flips the final card, 4 feather quills. My eyes dart to his face, expecting to find a triumphant smile, but instead I'm met with a look of pure horror. Oh, she knew. She knew. That was supposed to be 2 crossed swords. This young lady is the winner. The dealer gestures to a small creature at the end of the table and slides a considerable amount of chips over to her, which she chirps happily at. Now look what you've done. I told you. Bash places a hand on her arm to calm her before she can finish her sentence, and she stops abruptly. Now, if their thing is, oh, I'm going to hook you with the new player, why not just have why not have me be the new player who plays for the first time ever, plays the game, I get the money, and then I'll be like, oh, I'll be like, Dang, I win all of this jackpot money, and then I book it out there. Relax, enjoy yourself a little. We have enough trouble to deal with later. It's just a bit of fun, yeah? Let me buy you a drink. I look at Rhinus, who seems anything but relaxed. In fact, she's been looking quite on edge ever since we landed on Chalarium. She leaned in to whisper something to Bash, and I only just catch her words over the buzz surrounding us. Don't forget what happened the last time I was on this planet. Bash fixes his eyes on Rhinus, and both bionic and real. I'd never forget. He smiles at her for a moment, and I swear his face is softer now, somehow. It suddenly occurs to me how close the two of them seem, and I wonder what their story is, and whether the sudden sting of jealousy is valid. My eyes meet Rhinus again, and I offer a half-hearted shrug. Does this happen often? From the look on her face, I already know the answer to my question, but I ask anyway. Do things like this happen a lot? Rhinus laughs at the question while Bash shifts uncomfortably on his seat. More than you'd expect. Hey, don't go around bad-mouthing me like this. Hard to believe you disagree when you're laughing as well. Bash struggles to keep a straight face, but we all manage to calm ourselves eventually. Next time, we'll take the jackpot, you'll see. For now, though, we'd better just clear out for a while. The dealer throws us an impatient look, and Bash ushers Rhina and I away from the table. All I can say is it serves you right for gambling again. You know that nothing good ever comes of it. That's not true. Remember the time I won the Kentuckian bracelet in a game of cards? That thing was breathtaking. Rhinus folds her arms over her chest, giving Bash a pointed look. Oh, did he win it for her or something? I don't know. And what happened to that bracelet? I lost it in a bet. Okay, I see your point. Rhinus gives him a pointed look before letting out a long, tired sigh. You two do what you want. I'm going to go and find somewhere a little quieter to wait this out. Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on the table. Jump back in when things are picking up again. I'm gonna go with Rye. I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed in the casino. Finding a quiet spot with Ryan sounds more than appealing right now. I'm going to go with Rhinus. It's a little too much in here for me. Bash throws me a sly grin, and I have to fight the urge to smack it off his face completely. With a wave goodbye, Bash starts off, most likely in search of another table to join. Shaking my head, I turn to follow Ryan as she makes her way across the room and through the back of the club. When we exit the club and and step onto the street. I can't say it's any quieter than it was inside, but at least it's easier to breathe out here. Rhinus turns to me, a sheepish smile tilting her lips. This place suffocates me a bit. If you want to go back in, you're welcome to. I wanted to spend some time with you. It doesn't matter if it's in there or out here. I glanced down at the street at vendors selling their wares from wooden stalls into the various food carts, sending plumes of scented smoke into the air. It's just as crowded as it was in the club, with all sorts of people rushing back and forth. And from our spot, leaning against the front wall of the building, we take it all in. Ryan smiles at me, and I can tell she's glad I came along. I'm sorry if I seem difficult, but sometimes I feel like I don't fit in anywhere. You may not have noticed, but there aren't exactly a lot of Teleri on this planet. Almost none, in fact. I had noticed. It would be hard not to, but I can't say that I understand why. I'm sensing there's more to the story than you told me. Why did you really leave Telarium? Ryan's silence held my gaze, as if deciding how much she should tell me. After a moment, she bites down on her lip, her bright yellow eyes fixated on the dusty ground between us. My childhood was very strict. My father is a member of the Council of Eons, Telarian ruling government, and my mother is a director of Setem, the largest medical facility on the planet. As I'm sure you can imagine, these are incredibly demanding and powerful positions. Rye wearing her hands together nervously as if waiting for some kind of reaction, but all I can do is watch how her luminescent skin wanes when she speaks, glowing dimmer by the second. They didn't have much time for me when I was growing up, and I was still expected to behave as if they were always watching, because, well, there was always someone watching me. I had to be the perfect daughter, dedicated, well-mannered, disciplined, but it felt like I was a prisoner. She let out a soft sigh, fixing me with a worried look. Don't get me wrong, I love my planet, but the beliefs many of the Telarium have, there are backwards. We used to help those who needed aid, but more often than not, travelers are being turned away by Telarium, are closing themselves off from the rest of the world. She gives me a sad smile, as if apologizing for saying so much. We used to be better. I wanted to be better, that's why I left. And you joined the Adroma 6 crew? Not quite. That happened a few years later. I traveled with a group of Telarium called the Archangels. We went from planet to planet offering aid where we could. But she trails off, hands shaking at her sides, as whatever memories she's been trying to ward off before are now crash over her. Her face falls an instant as she covers her mouth with her hand, her eyes squeezed shut tight. I step forward to put a comforting hand on her shoulder, feeling her body shake with emotion. I'm so sorry. This planet brings back a lot of bad memories. I'd rather not talk about it right now, if you don't mind. My chest aches to see her so heartbroken, and I only wish there was something more I could do. That's perfectly fine. I understand. Can I do anything to help? It pains me to see her like this, and I wish I could do something, anything to help. Would you like some water or something stronger? I'm sure there's some more of Damon's favorite shrimp juice in there somewhere. I thrust a thumb a thumb in the direction of the bar, and Rhinus lets out a little laugh, shaking her head as she sniffles and wipes her eyes with a back of her hand. Don't worry about me. I'll be okay. She smiles at me, though the tears, and I believe it. Through the tears, and I believe it. There's a strength in her that draws me in, makes me want to know her better. I know that we don't know each other well, but if you ever want someone to talk to about this or anything else, I'll be there. I hope that one day we'll get the chance to know each other better. Ryan smiles despite the flush covering her cheeks and reaches out a hand to take mine. We will, Boo, I promise. One day, I'll tell you everything. Rhinus takes a deep breath to compose herself, looking around the street, and I'm relieved to see that she's feeling better. I think I'll go and have a drink with Bash. After all, I should probably apologize for being so hard on him earlier. I don't think he took it too harshly, but I'm sure he'd enjoy your company. She beams at me, her delicate features glowing under the light of the moon. We should. Before she finishes her sentence, two men walk past, their eyes visibly narrowed on the pair of us. One man, a human with corded lights weaving through his skin, steps uncomfortably close and growls in Rhino's face. Fuck up, Telarian. Telarian, bitch. We don't want your kind here. Damn, racist. Racist, mother... Crap. The other one, a Catalan, spits at our feet before the two of them stroll off, shoulders pulled back and her chest puffed, as though they owned the very ground they traced. Oh, we throwing hands. You ain't being racist, bro. Nah, we throwing hands. Where's the drink? Give me. Where's a rock? Throw something. Looking. Just a moment. Okay, just a moment. Sorry. Okay. Looking around for the first thing I can find, my fingers clasped around a small piece of metal scrap round. I hurl it towards the man, hitting him square in the back of the shoulders. The metal lands in the dirt with a clunk, and he stops in his tracks. My eyes widen, hardly believing I even had the nerve to do that. I hesitate when he storms towards me, angry, descending like a black cloud on his face, and I realize I haven't thought this plan through very well at all. He pointed a grubby finger at my face as he advances, his eyes reduced to two slits of eerie neon blue. You're going to regret doing that, you little shit. My heart hammers in my chest as his friend rolls up his sleeves, ready for a fight. I grip my teeth, mentally preparing for myself for the blows to come, until a head of pale silver hair dances in front of my vision. Bryna? You better back off right now if you know what's good for you. The man lets out a bellowing laugh, staring Bryna down through eyes that shine with sadistic amusement. You're in for a time of your life, lady. Is there a problem here? June coming in to save us. Bro, June coming in to save. Honestly, my character probably wasn't ready for that fight. My blood runs cold as sound of a dark rasp behind us, and when I turn, it's to find June staring the men down, his face thunderous and cold. Any glimmer of kindness is gone, replaced instead by a look I've never seen on him before, and I can't say why, but something about it terrifies me. Oh, jeez. I started a brawl. No, no, I started a brawl, guys. Oh, no. Bro, no, I started a brawl. Bro, no, no, I started a brawl. When June moves in front of Rhinus, and I shielding from the stranger and his face, all I can see are the muscles of his back and shoulders tensing through his clothes. Bro. Look, man, I just didn't want them to be racist. Chat, I just didn't want them to be racist. I didn't mean for a brawl. When June moves in front of Reiner, yeah, he almost seems bigger somehow, though I know that can't be possible. You think you can take us on, pretty boy? The man sneers at June, his lips pulling back from straight white teeth until the Katafian slams a hand on his friend's shoulder, pulling him back and whispering in a terrified voice, "Not this one, man. He's one of them." The man gives his friend a quizzled look, eyebrows raised in annoyance. What are you? But when he looks at June next, his eyes go wide and he backs up slowly, one foot behind the other, his mouth opening and closing like a goldfish. Another second later, the two of them are scrambling down the street, almost falling over each other in desperate attempts to disappear in the crowd. I let out a breath of relief, though when I look at Ryan, her face is still twisted in anger I've never seen from her. June stands firmly fixated on the spot, the only sign of movement the way his shoulders rise and fall with short swallowed breaths. Oh my gosh, no, she's mad at me. She's mad. June, I step towards him, hand outstretched and my heart pounding in my ears. My throat tightens uncomfortably, a wave of unwarranted nausea and terror shaking through my veins. Whatever those men had seen in June, it had shaken them to the core, and I wasn't so sure I wanted to know why. When he finally turns, the ghost of his easy smile slides back into place, though it doesn't quite reach his eyes this time. I let out the breath I've been holding in my shoulders, slumping as relief floods through me, and as if finally remembering what had brought him here, June's eyebrows dip in worry. I was looking for the two of you everywhere. We need your help inside. It's Aya. Rhinus throws him an alarmed look before hurrying back into a club, but before I can do the same, June stops me with a hand on my arm. I want nothing more than to follow Rhina after the situation with the men and make sure she's alright, but the way June is looking at me with such concern gives me a pause. Are you okay, boo? I nod, pushing towards whatever curiosity going at me to discover what had those two men so terrified of him. I'm fine, don't worry about me, June. I smile, trying to reassure him that I really am okay, when he finally relents with a nod of his head. We head back to the club together. June leads us to a small storage room off to the side of the bar, and we rush inside to find Aya seated on a stack of boxes, her arms held protectively against her stomach. She attempts to smile, but it doesn't last long until she's groaning in pain and cursing under her breath. Ryan lets out a small sound and rushes to her side. What have you done to yourself now? It wasn't my fault. Some asshole was trying to grab me, so I decked him. I swear I heard Rhina mumble, "Not again," under her breath, but over the music pumping throughout the club, I can't be sure. "Can you help her, Rye? I'll go round up the others." "Yes, we'll be fine, Boo. Boo can help with this." June leaves the room, shutting the door behind him as he goes, and I step next to Ryan, waiting for her instructions. "Knew you two would be together. Or did you sneak off too earlier, huh?" Bro, why you all suspicious of me and Rye, bro? We just buddies. Trust, we just friends. Aya winks at me, though Raina is the only one who growls at her to be serious, and I can't keep the satisfied smile from sliding onto my face. "Aya, what have I told you about getting into bar fights?" What, I should do it only if I know I'm gonna win?" Ryan gives her a withering glare, and Aya lets out a guilty bubble of laughter. "Oh, don't worry, it wasn't much of a fight." Did you punch a wall? What happened? Nothing much, really. Something clearly did. Aya cocks her head to the side a little, making a face while she mulls over exactly how much to tell us. Let's just say it's generally never a good idea to punch someone who has a bionic face. Oh my gosh, was it the same freaking man who was trying to, oh my gosh, was it the same man who was trying to get me earlier? Oh. Rowan, I'm gonna take men and women. I'm gonna take them both. Neither are safe. Aya, what were you thinking? Aya shrugs, the sliver of her hair falling casually around her shoulders. That I wanted to shut the prick up? Aya bit back a sting of curse as Rhina took her hand and flipped it over to check the damage. "So where's the guy now?" "Probably off crying in a corner. Pretty sure I gave his tin can a nice dent. A kind reminder not to touch people like that. I thought June broke you guys apart." "Oh, he did." "Ouch, Rye. Take it easy, will you?" "That's what you get for throwing punches in Las Vegas." "I'm sorry, okay?" Rhinus merely raises an eyebrow at her, and Aya smiles and immediately slides back in place. Sorry I didn't hit him harder, that's it. That is. An ungraceful snort escapes me, and even Rhinus has a hard time keeping the smile off her face. How bad is her How bad is her hand, Rye? It looks like it might be broken or fractured. At the very least, I'll have to run some scans to know for sure. Boo, will you see if you can get me a bowl of ice from the bar? It will help with the swelling until we can get Aya back to the ship. Of course. Closing the door behind me while I leave to the room, I start heading towards the bar in the search for a bowl of ice. I lean against the counter, immediately regretting the decision when I feel the sickness of who knows what's stuck to my sleeves. Disgusted, I turn back around, stopping in my tracks when a glint of red catches my eye between the sea of bodies in the room. I can't explain why, but something about that particular shade of red seems so familiar. Before I realize what I'm doing, my feet are already weaving through the room, pushing between the dozens of people around me. When did this bar get so crowded? Oi, watch it. Sorry. I mumble an apology, too fixated on the trail I'm on to stop now. When I get a little closer, I realize that what I've been following is a shock of red hair The man stops at the exit, looking around a little before disappearing through the door and out. Ugh. And out into the street. My heart pumps in my chest with an urgency I can't explain, and a voice in my head whispers, follow him, over and over, so utterly restless that I hear nothing else. I fall behind desperately, pushing my way through the last few feet of the crowd, growing hot and sweaty between so many bodies. When I finally reach the exit, I stop to catch my breath, looking up and down the crowded street for any sign of the man. I see nothing but the usual vendors, the street food carts, but I know he must be around here somewhere. He couldn't have just vanished into thin air. Breathlessly, I pick a direction, letting my feet guide me until I'm standing at the mouth of a dimly lit alleyway, a single solitary streetlight casting an eerie glow over the broken furniture and old trashy litter on the ground. Deciding I'd rather not take a chance and encounter in a dingy old alley, I turned back to the club, stopping when a noise echoes through the darkness, the sound of breaking glass. I hesitate, ear turned toward the alley, listening for any sign of movement. With newfound determination, I straighten up and muster my courage, taking one step and then another into the darkness. A thought enters my mind as I put one foot in front of the other. It could be a trap. Like an idiot, I didn't tell any of the crew where I was going when I left the club. I fumble with the letter sheath that Damon gave me earlier, buckled around my thigh, and I pull out the dagger, holding it tightly in my hand. I wasn't so sure about it earlier, but I'm glad I decided to take it, knowing that if worse comes to worse, I can defend myself. Steeling my nerves, I creep through the alleyway towards the source of the noise, only to find it empty. I look around, peering as far through the darkness as my eyes can manage, though all I can find are shadows. Was it just a rat? You shouldn't follow strangers into dark alleys. A voice startles me from behind, cool breath skittering over my skin and sending a shiver down my spine. But I can't turn around. I can't move after feeling the brush of a cold blade against my throat. Dang it! You dumb idiot! You dumb, stupid idiot! You dummy! You absolute dummy! You're stupid idiot! Okay, sorry. But I can't. And with a dagger no bigger than a butter knife. You're not even holding it right. Damn! You already threatened to end my life, and now you gotta ridicule about how I'm holding my knife. Don't dig salt into the wound. You're already making me feel like I messed up, bro. You don't need to dig in deeper. You already have your claws in me. He leans closer still, and when he speaks again, his voice is seductively dark, rasp in my ear. I'm about to be assaulted. Who are you, and why are you following me? I swallow thickly around the lump of fear in my throat, trying to keep my cool. My name is Boo. The man behind me sucks in a breath and spins me to face him, cutting my words short. I can't see his face clearly, though the shadows feel through the shadows, but I feel his eyes. Is he the prince? Wait, sorry. Over me, and the shock dripping from him when he takes a step back and lets out a shaky breath. It can't be. No. Prince Boo, you're alive. No, I knew it. I knew it. I'm sorry. I knew it before. They are doing that. Oh my god. Dang, knew it. I guessed it. I'm too smart, guys. Chat, I'm too smart. I'm. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I knew it, bro. Episode 3 rebooting. Prince Boo. Prince. What? What is happening? Prince Boo? Vex? Oh, is this the red hair I was following? He smiles when I turn, and something in my stomach feels lighter. It's been a year since we first met. A year and 1 day. And 1 day and 22 hours to be precise, but who's counting? And still, I remember that day. It was only yesterday. All ready for the masquerade? With a small nod, I gestured to my outfit and slightly engaging his reaction. I had one of the servants pick it out for me earlier, a young human who seemed to know a thing or two about the latest fashion. Vex nods in approval as he takes in my appearance, and I turn a little to let him get a glimpse of the entire thing. It isn't often I get an excuse to wear anything so fine. Being the youngest of the Passy children, I'm often confined in one section of the palace and never invited to any of the royal functions, save the odd wedding or funeral. My gaze settles on him, nerves getting the best of me, that we're ready to leave, though he only smiles at me reassuringly. He's the only person who smiles at me in this place, the only one who ever cares about my happiness, except for, do you really think this is a good idea? What if someone recognizes me? One corner of his mouth tilts into that knowing smirk that I've come to, oh my gosh, my breath, come to look forward to every day. The one that makes it seem like he has a secret, something he wouldn't tell anyone but me. That's what the mask is for. Taking the cord mask from my hands, he steps slowly behind me, positioning it in front of my eyes and tying it by the ribbon behind my head. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm sorry. My thing, took me out. I bite down on my lip, dread worming its way down to my bones. He has as much to lose if we get caught as I do, perhaps even more. My hands shake at my sides, and Vex puts a reassuring hand on my shoulders to keep me still. We snuck out of the palace yesterday and into the city to visit that cafe you love so much, and still you're afraid of a little masquerade ball. I tilt my head slightly to make a face at him, wrinkling my nose to show that it's hardly the same thing. Yes, the city, not right under my parents' noses for all to see. It's then that Vex steps in front of me, his fox-like face and sharp eyes facing me head on, and a soft smile gracing his lips. Too many ands. You need to cut out some of the ands, because there's too many. Sorry, grammar. Just a little grammar error for me. Nothing bad will happen to you, boo. I promise. Kisses his cheek! Bro, are we already dating? Bro, what do you mean kiss his cheek? Okay, I'm holding you to that promise. Lieutenant Sheriff, if you break it, terrible things will happen. Vex raises an eyebrow at me, and that half-crooked smirk playing on his lips. Oh, no, onto that there's a chance of that happening. But what would these terrible things be exactly? I bite down on my lower lip to keep my grin from spreading through, or he sneers straight through me anyways. I simply won't spend time with you anymore. That has him laughing, and when he steps forward to flick me on the tip of my nose, I can't help but pout. As if you could keep me away. He reaches out to smooth a wrinkle on my jacket, his fingers so gentle when he touches me. I'll be by your side the entire time. Ayo. I know he's telling the truth, and I trust him so much that the nerves start to settle, and I manage a smile of my own. Okay, so this decision was... As a member of the Royal Guard, Vex Sheriff has sworn to protect my life against any dangers that may befall me. But there's more than that. He isn't just a guard. He's my friend. My only friend. When he holds his arm out, I take it with renewed confidence, letting him lead me towards the secret passage off to the side. The passage comes out on the other side of the palace, just beside the large oil painting of my grandfather and the entrance to the library. There are many passages. There are many passages like this, and Vex and I have explored them all. I know I should feel guilty about this, disobeying a direct order from my parents to keep to the confines of the palace south wing, and instead running wild and unseen through the very depths of the place. And with a member of a royal guard, no less. You're almost there. Vex squeezes my arm gently as we navigate through the dim passageway, and I can tell that he's excited, which calms me somehow. We step out from the hole in the wall, taking care to remain unseen and prepare ourselves for the masquerade that awaits us. Boo. The memory has suddenly cut short by the sound of my name, spoken by a familiar voice, a voice from my past. Vex? My head feels heavy, and I raise a hand to my scalp, pushing against the throb that settles beneath my skull. I remember a little. Bits and pieces become clearer the more I think about it, though there's only one thing I know for sure. Vex is here, and I remember him. Boo, I mean, Prince, what are you doing here? And the question stunts me for a moment, taking me off guard as memory after memory of the man in front of me rushed to the surface of my mind, piecing together like a glass unbroken. Some memories remain blurry, mere facts needing a little more time to come into focus. But others swim to the surface, desperate for air, while they leave me breathless, struggling to stay afloat. You left me? Emotions hit me, one after the other, restless, in their assault. Fear, confusion, anger. Vex, how could you? I meet his eyes of my old friend, expecting to find the kind emerald green gaze I had grown used to, but instead I see nothing. Nothing but anger, bitterness, and spite. Dread sneaks through my veins. Something is wrong, something is different, and I can't quite figure out what. I thought you were dead. You were supposed to be. Vex stops, the muscles feathering in his jaw as it tightens, and he sets his unfeeling gaze on me. How did you escape? Escape? He thinks I escaped the attack on the palace? I remember now what truly happened. I remember my brother's wedding, how we were all at the palace that night, the perfect time for an enemy to strike. I left the reception early, planning on leaving the city to search for Vex. Now here he is, standing in front of me. So much has happened since I last saw you. I was rescued by a crew of mercenaries after being injured on Glorious. My memory of it was gone until now. Seeing you seems to have sparked something in my mind. You remember because of me? I'm going to get murdered by this man. He did something suspicious. He's like, how did you escape? I think he murdered the royal family. And now he's going to murder me. He is going to kill me. Anyway. Excuse me. I nod, fighting it increasingly difficult to meet those cold, cold eyes of his. The ones that were once filled with such warmth. What else do you remember? I remember a strangle sob escapes me as I press my hands to my eyes, gasp for air, blocking everything out and falling into a world of darkness. You were my friend. You looked out for me and made me laugh. We would talk about running away from the palace and exploring the system. You told me of the places you traveled to, and you always explained them so well. I almost felt like I'd been there too. His mouth twitches as if holding himself back from something he wants to say. I remember what happened that day, the day of the attack. You left. Weeks went by. No one would tell me why or where you had gone. My chest caves at the memory of being told to sit up, shut up, and do my duty, all while my only friend in the whole world was gone. I ran away. I was so desperate for answers. I came looking for you, though I didn't make it very far before one last word. On the last word, my voice cracks, and I will the tears that threaten to spill to stay where they are. Why did you leave? Vex stares me down, his eyes cold and unflinching. I don't understand any of it. I wasn't your friend. I didn't care about you, not even when they told me they were storming the palace and exterminating the royal line. You... what? I was using you, Boo. He laughs, but it's a bitter sound, void of any warmth. You were so naive. You had no idea. All you wanted was a friend. I don't believe you. We were friends. You would think that, wouldn't you? You spoiled little brat. What would you have me tell you, Prince? Do you want me to say I missed you? That I thought of you every day and wondered if you'd ever get to see those places we talked about? Wondered if someone better would take you there? I didn't miss you. I didn't think of you, even for a second. Damn! You know when you're like, oh, I want to ask this person out, and they're like, oh, the worst thing that can happen is they say no. This is the worst thing that can happen. Slap him, slap him, slap him. My hand whiffs across the side of his face, and the resounding slap echoes through the alley around us. Bex barely moves for a second, few moments, barely even flinches. Then he lunges forward and grabs me by the wrist, pulling me towards him as he hisses at me. Try that again and see how far it gets you. I struggle to free myself from his grasp, pulling against him, but it's no use. Bex, stop, you're hurting me. He stares me down, and I'm desperate to know what's going through that mind of his. But when he finally lets me go, all I can do is glare at him darkly. Nothing shatters inside me, some remnant of the past that had rushed back to the surface only to be crumbled like dust in my hands. All those times we would sneak out of the palace just to get away, the passages you showed me, that was exactly what I needed to know. And when I took that information to Zovek, he knew exactly where and how to strike. No! No! It can't be true. If it is, it means it's my fault. If you know what's good for you, you'll stay away from the Adroma 6 and her crew. They know too much, far too much, and they'll be dealt with soon enough. Forget who you were, Boo. That person doesn't exist anymore. If you're lucky, you'll never see me again. He turns to leave, stopping for a brief moment to say something for his shoulders. Okay. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. Okay, there we go. He turns to leave, stopping for the briefest moment to say from over his shoulders, I'm not sorry for what happened, but I'm sorry for Nerissa. She might have made a good queen, but we couldn't wait long enough to find out. He backs into the shadows, 1 foot behind the other, and I can't stop myself from reaching for him. He can't leave. Not now. I need to know more. Nerissa. Something sharp stabs through my chest, a pain so fierce I can barely keep myself on my feet. Nerissa, my eldest sister, and heir to Page's throne. Vex was the only one who ever smiled at me except for Nerissa. Boo! Footsteps echo through the darkness, but my mind has trouble processing the presence. Nerissa, she was going to be queen. She hated our father, but she loved me, and now she's gone. Boo, what the hell are you doing out here? Didn't I tell you to stay in the club? The captain's voice rumbles right past me. Are you even listening to me? Stop, Cauldron. Bashed shoulders asked the captain, but I see nothing but shadows and shapes dancing behind, the tears filling my eyes. Can't you see he's upset? Cauldron huffs a breath while cold metal fingers taking me by the arm and help me stay upright. Are you hurt? I shake my head, unable to speak, and Bash lets out a relieved breath. Let's take him back to the ship. This isn't a kind of place we should hang out. Damien, do a sweep of the area. Make sure nothing there's nothing out of the ordinary. I don't see it when Damien sinks back into the shadows, as quiet as mist, but I feel when Bash gently takes me by the arm and guides me in the direction of the ship, Cauldron walking up ahead of us. Bash leads me through the crowded streets of the city, and I'm glad for it because my mind is elsewhere, lost in memories of the past. Before I know it, we're in front of the A6, ascending the loading ramp to the dock. 3 heads snap up when we enter. Immediately, Rhinus is on her feet and coming towards us. What happened? I'm not sure exactly. Bash moves away to give me space, though all 5 of them continue to look at me, waiting for answers until Cauldron cuts in. You shouldn't have left the club. You have no idea how dangerous the city can be for someone alone. Sorry, I didn't think. Yeah, that seems to happen a lot, doesn't it? Damn! Cut it out, Cauldron. The last thing we need right now is your bad temper. Cauldron opens his mouth to speak, though he stops himself at the sight of Rhinus' glare. Fine. Throwing his arms up in frustration, he backs off and leans against the far wall, a sour expression twisting his features. Rhinus comes over, putting a hand on Bash's arm to make sure he's alright before turning to me. Are you okay? When you didn't come back, I was so worried about you. She lowers her voice and leans closer, glancing at Cauldron before fixing her bright yellow eyes on me. He may have said it in the wrong way, but he's right. Las Vegas is a dangerous place. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm okay. I didn't go far from the club. I think back on meeting Vex in the alleyway, on the things he had said to me. He said he had betrayed me, my family, and I had fallen for his lies so easily. Shaking my head to clear the thought, I decided it's best not to dwell on it now, especially not with so many eyes on me. Something had shaken you up back there. What was it? I swallow hard, my mind conjuring any kind of excuse to cover my actions. Not ready to tell them the truth. Not yet. I was just overwhelmed by the club, that's all. Bash gives me a look, his robotic eyes shifting. They know in an instant that he doesn't believe me. I take in a lungful of air, steadying my breath as I scan the room. One look at the pilot sitting with her arm cradled against her stomach brings the memory of the night crashing back on me in a wave of guilt. Aya, is your hand alright? Aya grins at me, as chipper as ever. I imagine I'd take a lot more than a broken hand to slow this girl down. A little sore, but it'll be fine by morning. Talks amazing at her job, and having all of the right equipment on the ship doesn't hurt either. I smile at her and returning, glad to hear she's okay, even with my failure to bring back the ice for her hand. Damien. When I found Marnus, oh my gosh, jeez. Marnus is to see Damien entered the bridge, fresh scarlet blood scattered all over his face and front of his clothes. What happened? Marnus. Dang! Marnus rushes forward to help Damien, who simply holds a bloody glove hand up in front of him to stop her. We were followed. The blood isn't mine. God damn it. My gaze darts between the captain and his second in command, as does the rest of the crew. Followed? How? Damien shrugs, his cold eyes pinned as Cauldron, in a way that sends a shiver down my spine. Ask the commander over there. Surely he knows how a guard ship is capable of finding us. A collective murmur goes through the room, and I swallow around a lump in my throat. More concerning than the fact of being followed is the splattering of blood on Damien's clothes. The blood have come from Vex, could it? Guard ship, what's going on? They must have put a tracker on us. Keldrin's voice is quiet. I get the impression more than anything he's angry at himself. Damien shakes his head and scoffs. You didn't think to check? I was a little preoccupied with the great bloody hole in my ship and the stray that June brought aboard. Just gonna keep quiet. Sorry, I'm marking all my answers down for a friend. Anyway, keep quiet. My face brings heating, and I open my mouth to say what? I don't know, so I say nothing instead. There's no need for that. I'm the one who made the decision to bring him on board, so if you want to be mad at someone, let it be me. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just... Growl tears through... Oh my gosh. Cal's throat as he kicks over a stack of metal boxes, completely losing his cool. How did things get so fucked up? Things were already fucked up, Cal. We just never learned how to deal with it. The captain waves dismisses hand at us before pinching the bridge of his nose and taking in a deep breath to calm himself. What's done is done. We'll check in with Oppo about getting a CD. The cloaking device isn't going to do shit if they already know we're here. And how the hell do you expect to get the money for that anyway? Bash helps Damien find a old rag, leaving him to wipe the blood off his face and clothing while the captain growls at him. How we always get the money, Damien. We're mercenaries, unless you've managed to forget. You know just as well as I do, we don't have the time for that. What else do you propose we do? Ooh, excuse me. Aya gives him a helpless shrug and her glare burning straight through him, and I take the opportunity to speak up before Keldrin can enrage anyone further. There might be another way. 6 pairs of eyes fall on me, and I hesitate. It's not ideal what I'm about to propose, but I value our lives far more than some old trinket. Well, if you have any idea, then spit it out. Talking in a deep, shaky breath, I meet his eyes. I can sell my music box. It's made of Clentarfian, right? It's enough to buy the part you need, and then some. No, absolutely not, Boo. You can't just sell off the only link you have to your past. I look at no one but the captain, gauging his response. Finally, upon making a decision, he lets out a sigh. I agree. It's not something any of us would ask you to do. You're not asking, I'm offering, and besides, it's not my only link to the past. June steps forward, his eyebrows dipping into clear confusion. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Do I tell them about Fix? I don't know. Do we tell them about Vex? Okay. Let's evaluate this. Okay. So, if we don't tell them about Vex, they will live in sort of a naivety, but they will also know that no one's coming after them. It could put them in danger. Now, also, it will... And also, if they do eventually find out, they will realize, hey, you didn't tell us that you were a prince earlier. And so, you just put us in danger for no reason. All that trust we have, gone. You made us lose our trust. Now. Now, if I tell them about this, and I go, oh yeah, I'm the prince, I'm from the government, they're like, oh my gosh, we're mercenaries. We could sell you to the person. Of course, it's probably not going to happen, but there is a likely chance that it might. Also, they can be like, oh my gosh, the prince, we're going to treat you differently, and it's going to become a whole situation. You know? So, my next option might be, don't tell them about Bex. There we go. I'm not going to tell them about Vex. The reason I really left the club was because I started to remember more about my past. I needed to find a quieter space to process it. What did you remember? There was a reason that my body was of the youngest prince. Oh, but I told them I was the prince anyway, so it doesn't matter. Prince wasn't found after the coup. It's because he wasn't in the palace when it happened. Coden swears under his breath, and when his eyes lock on mine, I know he's the only one who's figured out what I'm trying to say. Go on, tell them. With a deep breath, I compose myself, taking his opportunity to look between the crew before things between us are changed forever. My name is Boo Pesingay, and I'm the youngest child of the King Birds and the Lunar Queen. Oh my god. Why is he angry? Why is, okay, everyone's shocked. He's smiling and he's angry. The faces in front of me of mix of horror, confusion, anger, and my stomach drops, knowing the weight of the bomb I've dropped on every single one of them. Shit. Oh my god. Well, this changes things. This changes everything. Ooh. I'm sorry. Jeez, I did not mean to burp in front of stream. I'm sorry. Ooh, excuse me. Damien is the one who approaches me first. The hard set of his gaze, perfect contradiction to the grin that tilts in his lips. He studies me for a moment, seeing me through a new eyes before he turns back to the crew. Don't you see? If we turn over the little prince to Vovek, it would be enough to wipe his bounty on us. For the record, I do nothing but stare at him in disbelief, my head pounding in my ears like a drum. What did he just say? At least 2 shouts of outrage come from the group through though Damien only smiles wider, his teeth glinting under the fluorescent lights. I knew I was Damianist for the right reason. I was Damianist for the right reason, bro. Bro's mad. Bro's big mad. I'm sorry. Bro's pissed. Bro's not gonna see the light of day, bro. Oh my gosh. You've gone too far, Damien. Boo is one of us. We're not going to hand him over to his to his family's murderer. I mean, you've only known me for a few days. Agreed, and I will kick your ass if another word comes out of your mouth. My eyes catch June for the briefest moment, but he looks away just as quickly, fixing Damien with a hard stare. Damien snorts, and eyes threat, rolling his eyes as if he could care less. Then he steps towards the captain, his face blocked from my view, and his voice low, calculated. Cal, I know you agree with me on this. Cauldron looks past Damien, those cold eyes fixing me to the point, though I harden myself and stand my ground. And then he shakes his head at his second in command, his voice rough, leaving no room for debate. It's not an option. Damien clicks his tongue in disappointment, backs off, hands held in front of him in defeat. All right, have it your way. But don't come cryifying me for saying what we're all thinking. He slicks away like an angry cat, every pair of eyes on him, as if he might snatch me away until he disappears up the stairs out of sight. Once gone, Cauldron lets out a tired sigh. I think we should call it a night. It's been a long day, and there's much we'll need to discuss tomorrow. Bryna gives me an encouraging squeeze on the arm before heading off with the others, and I feel somewhat reassured. I want to speak to her about all of this more than anything, but for now, I will have to wait. Boo, I need to speak with you. With a nod, I follow the captain to the bridge, falling behind and losing myself in thoughts. We walk in silence, but I don't mind it. My head is reeling, and I have to mentally prepare myself for the conversation to come. When Cauldron stops, he turns to face me, but the anger is drained from him. Instead, he seems concerned, emotion I'm not used to seeing on him. How are you feeling? The question both relieves me and takes me off guard at the same time, with the way he's looking at me. I know that things have changed. Things haven't always been easy between the captain and I, but despite that, I'm glad he asked, and he had stood up for me against Damien after all. Like, I don't want to think about any of it. Okay, this might be the last decision I make, and then we're gonna go off. There are so many memories flooding back that I don't want to think about any of it. I can't. Cauldron nods, and I know he understands. The man seems to be a master himself at keeping the past at arm's length. You'll have to deal with it sooner or later. I can tell you that pushing something like this away, it only makes things worse. I shake my head, feeling nothing but a welcome numbness spread through my body and suspend my mind in a place the past can't reach. I think I was wrong when I said I wanted to remember, because these memories, I don't want them. I don't want any of them. Cauldron drops his head, letting out a long breath before he looks at me again, his face anguished. I owe you an apology. He drags a thumb across his bottom lip, and I can see this isn't easy for him. I'm sorry for what I said that first day you came aboard. You don't have to. No, I do. The captain fixes me with a hard stare, and I close my mouth, content to listen. I have to say it. I have no excuse for how I acted, and I just need you to know that I'm sorry for all of it. You'll have to do better than that, ayo. No, kidding. I could hug him, or I could just say thank you. I think I'm... Because if I say you'll have to do better than that, that is the response that might make him think that I do not accept his apology, which I do. I do accept his apology. If I hug him, that would be weird. Because I still barely know this dude. So I think I'm just gonna say thank you. Do 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 do. Do do. Do 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 do. Boop boop. Thank you for saying so. I appreciate it, and I accept your apology. I know you were only being cautious. Cauldron smiles, and his face drops as soon as some hidden memory surface, and he hesitates a moment before speaking again. I knew your brother, Prince Soren. I knew your brother, Prince Soren. We trained for the guard together, and we were friends for a time before we were dispatched to different districts. I freeze, letting the words sink in. I had no idea the two of them knew each other, and now that I know, I can't tell how it makes me feel. He was a good man. He didn't deserve what happened to him. None of your family did. It was his wedding the night of the attack. I remember it now. My voice shakes when I speak, the past hanging over me like a thundercloud ready to explode. We weren't close, but I never wanted this. I never wanted to see any of them get hurt like this. My breath sticks in my throat, and for a moment I have trouble getting air to my lungs that squeeze and tighten in my chest. Perhaps people hated my father. Does that mean he deserved to die? I shake my head. That's not what I meant at all, but I certainly don't wonder why people wanted... I certainly don't wonder why people wanted him gone. I heard what the people said when I would sneak into the city. They said he was narcissistic, that he was leaving the people to suffer while our family drank from golden goblets and ate off of silver plates. My brothers and sisters were content to live a life of privilege, either too ignorant or scared to do anything else but Nerissa, the heir to the throne. She loved the people. She tried to change our father's mind so many times, but he would never listen. And I felt so powerless. I didn't know what to do, so I did nothing. I'm just as bad as he was. No, wanting to do something about it, that's the first step. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. Yes. Goodbye.